Hi, this is Christina Regier, and this is my final project for MIT 812. Over the past quarter, my students have been learning about different habitats and how and why animals and plants adapt to those certain environments. And so the 5 habitats that we talked about were tundra, ocean, pond, desert, and rainforest. And my objective for this project is that my students will understand how and why animals and plants adapt to those environments and not to others, and they'll be able to take their knowledge and apply it into a final project. And for the actual project, my students chose a habitat. They wrote a paragraph and then used Word to type it up about the habitat, and then they also created a diorama. So I used Powtoon to engage the students and get them excited, as well as explain what they will be doing. So when my students finished their part of the project, I filmed them in front of a green screen reading their paragraph, and then I created a QR code with that video and displayed it next to their habitat diorama, and now they are displayed in our library. So putting it all together and showing you all the pieces of their final product, here are their QR codes, and so you can check out each of their videos. And here are the 5 students that shared each of the habitats, and I will share a couple of them with you now.
The rainforest is a hot and wet place, but it's also a home for many different types of animals. Some types of animals that live in the rainforest are sloths, white-faced monkeys, poisonous frogs, and anteaters. Some people don't know what animals live on the bottom of the rainforest. A bunch of animals live there, such as worms and insects. The Amazon rainforest is the biggest rainforest in the world. The rainforest gets 100 inches of rain a year. The Amazon rainforest is mostly in Brazil, but also in Bolivia, Peru, and Colombia. Also in the heart of the Amazon rainforest lives the Amazon River that contains piranhas and other fish. Did you know that the Amazon River is the second largest river in the world, but the Nile River is the largest? The Amazon rainforest is 4,000 miles long and 6,437 kilometers long. My name is Madhumita. I'm going to talk about the pond habitat. A pond is a small standing water which is not very deep. In a pond, there are small animals like frogs and turtles, and insects like water strider and dragonflies. Even salamanders, snakes, ducks, and spiders can be found too. Did you know plants can grow in a pond? For example, water lilies are floating plants that grow in the pond. Their roots just hang there in the water. Cattails are plants that grow at the edge of the pond. Their roots are at the bottom of the pond. Many plants and animals call ponds a home. Frogs are special because they live half of their life in the water and half of their life on land. A frog's life cycle begins as an egg in the water. After a few days, tadpoles come out. They breathe through gills slowly. The tadpoles grow legs and lungs. Finally, the tadpoles lose their tails and gills and hop onto land as an adult frog. Thank you for listening to me. Have a great day, OGE!
So those are a couple of my students and their projects. And here are their dioramas that they created as well. So I'm very impressed with the work that they have done. And so I encourage you, if you have time, to check out their QR codes and listen to the rest of my students and their habitat information. As I reflected on this project, when I first started thinking about it, I wanted all of my students to complete this, and my goal was before spring break. Unfortunately, I was not able to get to 2 of the habitats, and so I had to recruit a couple students from some of the other classrooms that I've already taught those specific habitats. And as I thought about my planning, I made sure to plan ahead and make sure their work was completed in time for me to finish my own part of this project. And I also sent home permission slip forms, since this was something that would be posted on YouTube and seen by all of you. And so that took a little bit of extra planning and making sure that those were turned in and the parents knew what was going on. Another thing was teacher involvement. I obviously had to recruit a couple students, and so I had to talk to those teachers about that. Sorry. And I also had to get permission to use the green screen, and I also had a little bit of assistance getting videotaping done and things like that. So it was a little bit of extra work, but as I said, with the planning part of it, making sure that I had everything done with plenty of time to spare in case there were little hiccups. I also had my students reflect, so here were some questions that I asked them. So what were they most proud of with their project? What was frustrating to them, and how did they overcome those frustrations? And what would they do differently next time? And so my biggest takeaway was just the engagement. Just with this course, I feel like I have become more engaged, especially in multimedia, and really thinking about how I can incorporate or integrate multimedia into my lessons, and making sure that I'm very intentional with how I use multimedia, and not that it's just something that's just kind of thrown in there, but that it's really going to engage my students and help them further their learning. And so this project really took me out of my comfort zone and really pushed me to be more intentional with my planning and finding different ways to integrate different medias into my lessons. So I am very excited to take this new knowledge and build upon it, and really see what I can get my kids to do. So thanks for listening.